What is going on? How's it
I
going,
see
man?
you backward Saber Sim sweatshirt.
I'm doing whatever I can. It's the last day of January. To get out of the month, bro.
Love it.
It's the month of nightmares for me. Like I swear, listen to Sheets, guys. Everything. I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm not going to. I mean, especially if on this kind of slate, I'm not going to criticize any plays. I really don't. Okay. Let me say it differently. You'd have to push pretty hard for me to hate some plays. Just there's a lot of things out there. And I've been off. Every last decision I make, it seems to go in the wrong tournament. And I say we follow you. So what's your outlook here? What are you looking at?
I feel as though there's some weird thing going on because I've been waiting for news that I didn't know what was going to be, and it just nothing is coming like at all. Like the projections that I made right now are almost like identical to what they were at noon.
They're basically the same thing, right? Yeah.
It's bizarre. So I will repeat my my slate analysis is that if you would like to play guys like Giannis, you're going to, I don't say have to, but then like the world of Mark Williams is your world, you know, the world of Pat Connaughton, Herbert Jones, Larry Nance, Grayson Allen, Quentin, you know what I mean? Even Ricky Rubio, like these are the guys that you're going to have to eat. And none of them look that great. However, if you don't want to play Giannis, who you could argue is actually a little underpriced relative to what he's been, then you got some good plays, you know, like Brunson and Jamal Murray for me are the two guys that are the two top ones. And then the guy that you brought up earlier, he was in my big lineup as of, you know, like hours ago, and I don't see any particular reason to change it, would be Butler. You know, like he's right in that exact same price range. And as a matter of fact, I think I had him. No, I didn't have him running back with anybody really, but I thought Butler was a good play. And that's kind of the world that's kind of where I want to start, I guess, is Jamal Murray, Jalen Brunson, and Butler. I couldn't imagine playing anybody from the Lakers. And the other guy that I think the highest price that I would go. I mean, you could play Randall, I suppose, but I think maybe Paul George would be the highest I would kind of go here. Now again, that doesn't mean you have to play that way. Like if you really think that Giannis or Jokic are good plays, I mean, listen, they're good plays, but if you really want to get them, you can play them. But you're gonna have to, you know, play some pretty mediocre, you know, value. Okay, I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. To get it out of the way, if you had to pay up for one, I do think Giannis is the better play, but I think that's obvious to everyone, and he's going to be much more owned. I do think getting a low-owned Jokic is definitely kind of interesting, especially after like there's a lot of chatter after, you know, Embiid outplayed him and everything and beat the hell out of him. And then there's talk about like the MVP who's swinging or whatever. This is the kind of matchup he could get back in the, you know, I mean, he's actually still a favorite, but like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying like little extra reasons to maybe play him at 5 or 6% or 10% ownership instead of Giannis's 30-some%. I think Giannis will be around 30. I don't know. So I'm more on Giannis's side, but I don't mind if people wanted to take a pivot to Jokic. I was able to get Giannis in without using any 3K guys pretty easily in multiple ways. It's plays that like aren't the most fun plays in the world, like Herb Jones. But I actually think like Patrick Williams has started to show more upside, and I always have believed in this guy. He's a really good basketball player, like in real life. He just is mostly a defender. But I think that Patrick Williams, and he gets played out sometimes because they want the extra offense. So it really depends on how they, you know, I don't know. I do like Patrick Williams. I like Quickly. I like Nance. I like Herb Jones. If not Quickly, Grimes, and you can do all that and play Giannis. Joe Ingles would be the one guy down in the under 4K that I feel pretty good about, just because I know the minutes are there and it's a great matchup. And like, I think they're going to give him his minutes, like kind of no matter what, like 20 some odd minutes. And I think in this matchup, that's a really, really good situation.
Oh,
And it also gets you out the chalky Connaughton.
I told you I know what I liked. Okay, so another guy that you brought up earlier, who as of again I haven't gone through my big lineup yet
Yeah.
but my original I had your Brooke Lopez play in there.
Mhm.
Again, just from the price and whatever. And
Yep.
not to give the whole lineup away, but I found, listen, this is an ugly slate, so you don't usually want to do this, especially with the low total. But if Jimmy Butler's gonna get all juiced up, I can't imagine why Donovan Mitchell wouldn't get juiced up also. Now, again, it's not
It's a
what
little
you
different.
want to do,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not what you want to do playing against these, playing these two teams, trying to target them. But when you only need like 265, 270 points, maybe.
Ooh, I don't
I
know
don't know.
about that.
Maybe I could be a little more cavalier about my takes on these defenses. I don't know.
I do think it's viable to play the Mitchell Butler, but I don't necessarily agree that it's the same thing. I do think that like Mitchell, yes, in close games, absolutely. So that part of it does translate. But the Butler thing is like legitimately, he will just get other people involved and just take a back seat in games where other guys are playing well. He doesn't do that in really tough games where they really need him. And you see the free throws go up in those games, and everything just he becomes the guy who if Jimmy Butler's in the playoffs, he's 8,800. He's an 8,800 to 9,500 player. He's not 7,800.
And if he's in the playoffs, though, he's playing 44 minutes. I mean,
but he kind of does that though in games that matter. Well, he doesn't do that many, but you're right. He'll play, but he could play 38 minutes tonight. I think this matters to them. I really do.
So just for fun, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to rerun. What I decided to do today, I wanted to use Saberson a little bit more to my advantage, and for my MME stuff, I ran different builds for each contest. Like I ran different builds for the fadeaway as I did for different sliders for the 3 max or whatever, just to kind of see. And I'm going to do that again. And I really just can't imagine anything being much different than it was earlier. But I'm going to do it now. And let you know what I come up with. I also have to, I screwed up. I thought that hockey was on All-Star break, but I guess there was another slate or so. So I had forgotten to put up projections and even look at it, and someone posted in there. So I just did put them up. So those of you who want to play the 3-game hockey slate, I missed the MME stuff, but I will play the one single entry. Let's see.
Yeah. I wanted to throw out a couple. I'll answer a couple things for people real quickly because we don't have a whole lot, in terms of strategy stuff that I think that we can touch on without if there's no information. One weird thing to consider is if you're playing Jamal Murray, you might want to try to get other exposure to that game because if he's out for any reason, that's a real thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that's like a big piece of news that we literally may not know about till later. And it's weird because it's supposed to be injury management. That's the kind of thing we should know about earlier. But I think they have, what do they have? I'm trying to check out their schedule. See if there's any way he really sits. I don't think
there are some crazy builds I'm getting.
He's not going to sit.
So I'm getting some builds, some lineups with like some crazy players. Like again, when you have no value, and like the small value there is probably just like terrible ownership, right? Mm-hmm. You get to these guys, like I'm getting lineups with like Jeff Green, for openers. You had mentioned Okoro. I'm getting some that, some like 3,800 Caleb Martin. Just guys that I guess I'm just hoping get like 12 fantasy points. You know what I mean? I just what do you think of going back to? What do you think about the Knicks? I
just want to say though, I think Okoro and like I don't like playing Okoro like in general, but like I think Okoro is a much better play than he looks, and even his game log will not look at like I think that he's actually like I think both he and Ingles have a really good shot at getting 20 plus fantasy points, which right now is awesome, right? We would be signed up for that if you're going to play those guys.
Yeah.
What was your last question though? Sorry, Shoots.
No, I don't think I had another question. I was just I was asking about playing like several Knicks in the same lineup.
Yeah, I think there's no problem with that at all. I mean, I think that's actually like the right thing to do. I have a feeling that the Lakers. By the way, I think the Lakers are going to win this game, whatever that's worth. I'm just throwing that one out there. Let's see. I really like. I mean, Brunson's the obvious one, but the weird part is that Grimes might end up being a lot higher owned, even just because of the lack of value. And I think Quickly is being a little underprojected, but the ownership seems to be still following him. So
that's interesting.
It's a little tricky to figure out what to do exactly with all that. I think that like on a slate like this, I think that Isaiah Hartenstein is like a good tournament play.
Okay.
You know, they're just flyers. You know what I mean? But by the way, Hartenstein destroyed the Lakers when he played with the Clippers, and they used to face each other 5 times a year. So you can at least factor that in as something. I don't know. So anyway, but you're looking for weird stuff tonight. That's the obvious stuff. So what's up to everyone in chat? I'm going to answer some of the questions and get to some of the comments that people made. 4 Milwaukee guys chalk here in Opto. There's 4 Milwaukee players in the Opto? Wow.
It could be.
That's pretty nutty. Yeah, Giannis, Ingles, Connaughton, and Grayson Allen, maybe, or Lopez.
Possible.
Yeah. On FanDuel, it's even harder to stay away from guys like Holiday. I do think FanDuel is a little different today. Like Holiday, all these point guards are like 7,500. Then you have Paul George at 83, Levine at 72, Barrett at 68. LaMelo is 8K on FanDuel. Just throwing these out there because there's a big tournament, so I'm playing over there tonight. But yeah, there's a lot of other things. And, you know, Giannis or Jokic straight up, I think we answered that question, for me at least. I think the obvious answer is Giannis, and then Jokic is the tournament one, right? Cheats?
Yeah.
As Rody said, hit the like, guys, please. Murray, if he plays, absolutely, he's going to be the chalk. It's really weird for a chalky player to have a Q tag due to injury management that we don't know about by the afternoon. I mean, I'm guessing that he's going to play, but like that's really weird. They wouldn't just announce it. Like, be nice. John likes the Butler idea. Couldn't play Brook Lopez. I like Lopez tonight too. I'm telling you, I just like to. I'm going to play centers against Charlotte and just close my eyes. I don't even care who they are. Rubio is just a dart throw. The issue I have with Rubio getting in tonight is they're going to want a Coro or who else? I guess they put Mobley on Butler. I think they're going to want a Coro on Butler. I don't know how Rubio gets in because I don't think they're going to play a Coro at the 4 because they're going to have Jared Allen, Kevin Love. So I don't know how many minutes Rubio gets. I think he gets his normal rotation of 16 to 18, but even that he may not even get that many.
Yeah.
So a little bit tricky.
Yeah, so I mean, right now it looks as though Brunson is my highest owned guy. It's the way it is. I mean,
well, let's talk. So let's go through some of these popular plays and see if we can't think of a pivot. Like you have some obvious pivots right in the same game in almost every situation. Like Donovan Mitchell is actually probably going to have some ownership tonight. He's not going to be that popular, but like he'll have some ownership.
right.
If you want to play Darius Garland, you're going to get 0 ownership on Darius Garland.
That certainly makes a lot of sense.
So it's just something like that. As it was people are going to play Bam. Actually, they're not looking like they're playing Bam as much. Wow, his projections changed a lot. I don't really know why. But anyway, play Jimmy Butler like in that one, and then in the Knicks situation, okay, if you want to take a riskier position, or whatever, I guess it is what it is. Play Randall instead, and don't play Brunson.
Right.
And you're still gonna have some ownership, but like these are ways to get different. Paul George is gonna have some ownership. Take a shot with Kawhi on a lower end build. Like these are the choices you can make to get different. And Patrick Williams is the only bull really showing much ownership. Him and Levine a little bit. Play DeRozan at lower ownership. Just that's like legitimately just using some game theory basic stuff, like just obvious stuff that it's not about who the best plays are. You're going to be chasing it with a million people if things don't change. It's going to be really, really, really chalky builds. And you're going to have these guys who are looking like 25%. A lot of these guys are going to be like 40% on if things don't change.
I mean, I guess Jamal Murray has to be out, right? I mean, like you can't have a whole night with nothing happen.
That's the old that's your speculation. Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing you could do though in that game that I like as a play anyway is play Michael Porter Jr. or
yeah, I like that.
That you're going to get low ownership there. And that's just Wade. Like I like Murray a lot, but I actually like Michael Porter Jr. just about as much as Murray, maybe a little bit less, but it's close. And in the other game, like you can just skip all the other guys and like take a shot on Joval. I actually think that
I have a couple of Joval lineups.
I actually think it's a little more viable than I initially thought today. Any Cavs players? We mentioned Mitchell that I think is fine, especially if you want to play Butler on the other side. You have a nice little mini stack. Everybody else is fine. I don't see any of them as being like priorities. It's a bad matchup for everybody else. So Okoro, I think Okoro at no ownership as a guy just who's going to play minutes is totally worth taking a shot, or Kevin Love. Davis is, I would not touch Anthony Davis. He's amazing as a player, so he can get there like in no time, but that's not something I'm willing to do. How about you, Sheets? Any Anthony Davis in any of your leagues?
No, zero. I have 0 Lakers.
I do think you could also argue that Troy Brown, again, obviously he's not going to put up the same number, but like, who cares if we're chasing and taking a shot on a guy who played good minutes, like at 3,400 in the starting lineup? Like, why wouldn't we do that again?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, we're talking about other value plays that haven't come close to what he did last night. Yeah, so it's
right.
Probably, and it's a different situation, obviously, but like, he's still going to play minutes. He's just going to play less of them. Unless things are going well, then he'll stay on the court. Reggie versus Rubio, neither for me. I have a little bit of Rubio lineups. Reggie Jackson, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to play him. I just, at least I know Rubio's role, and Reggie Jackson. The role changes every day with the Clippers. And even with these guys out, like when Paul George and them sit, like it's not like he's been crushing. He's played better to his defense.
Right.
But I think Reggie, he's fine. Like both are fine. I give a little bit of an edge to Rubio, but maybe that's a mistake. You could definitely argue that Reggie Jackson's the better play. Dennis Schroeder just missed every shot last night. If Dennis Schroeder would make some shots last night, the Lakers would have won that game. They were up in the fourth quarter. What was he? He was 2 for 15 from Dennis Schroeder. Nice job, buddy. They were up by like 8, and next day I looked back and they were down like 14. I was like, and it was like a minute. I was like, what the hell happened? Hero's okay to me, but like it's not obviously not a good matchup. But he can always get hot, and I wonder where he's going to be owned at actually. Because I early on, yeah, he's going to have some ownership. I'm siding with Butler in that game, but I have no problem with Hero. He's going to have some ownership. 3 Knicks max. I don't think there's a max on the number of Knicks you can play tonight. It's a small slate. You could if these guys are going to play the minutes, you could play 4 of them if you want to. Hit the like button, as Rody says, before we get out of here.
Yeah.
I have to go finish building at some point, but I'm more just like, I keep feeling like I'm waiting for news, but there's just not that many. There's just not that much.
Right.
And we haven't had like a little slate in a while that we did a show on.
Yeah, looks like we're clear. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know what to do. Hornet players. That's a good question. I love LaMelo on FanDuel. I think he's going to be really popular on both sites, and I think he's a good play. But if you can find a way to comfortably fit him in with Giannis, I think that's awesome. And then you just stack. You pray the game stays close. You play Ingles or Connaughton or both. Probably one for me, but I think that's totally legitimate as a play. I just don't think it's going to be all that uncommon. I think Gordon Hayward is a reasonable play that'll have no ownership. I don't love it, but I think that Jalen McDaniels, if you're not playing Hayward, PJ Washington, but more so on FanDuel at 6,100 where it fits. And then large field stuff, I think that playing some Terry Rozier is probably a good idea, but I don't think I would want to do it in a single entry or if I'm only playing one lineup type of thing.
Yeah.
Plumlee has no look. It's actually not that bad of a situation for Plumlee. I can get on board with it. I'm not playing him, but you could talk me into the Plumlee thing. I don't think I would like make it a priority, but if it was the last piece, I would consider it. It's just absolutely not what I'm trying to do, but it is. I think it's probably okay. I'm trying to look and see how his history has been with Milwaukee. Played really well last time. We've seen certain types of centers. Usually he doesn't seem like the type. He had a good game the game before that against them. He doesn't seem like the guy who would have the good games against them, but he's had some pretty good games. So I can get on board with it, even though I'm not doing it.
Was Brandon? Did we talk about Brandon Ingram at all?
You could talk about him. I don't have interest in him, but like, is this the night they let him go?
I don't. He's like a guy I'd literally never play.
I don't think it's the night they're going to let him just like run wild. I think he probably gets the 28 minutes. He didn't play the back-to-back. Maybe they give him a little upside on the 28 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. He's 7K on FanDuel. I think if you're going to play him, I'd rather pay 7K for him than I would 76. FanDuel is weirdly like the easier site to play today. Like very, very like you could build a cash game lineup in literally 2 minutes on FanDuel, and then you could build a million variations. I think it's a better tournament slate for FanDuel for some reason. It's the pricing is a little bit more flexible. All right. Who do you have? How much quickly do you have sheets currently? Like, or what are you looking at?
Like 10%.
Yeah.
Nothing.
For anybody else who you have that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just fix this one last thing. I mean, again, I do have some of the Chicago shuffles. I have some Desumnu, but I'm just really playing this mid-range chalk. That's the best I can describe it. Playing a little less. I just pared down my Brunson exposure in the MMA. Just for doing something different, I guess. Because I do have him in pretty much all my bigger buy-ins.
Yeah. I really like. I like.
What are they? Yeah, you know what I like from you. I like the Michael Porter Jr. thing.
Porter Jr. and what's his name and Butler in my main lineup.
And the other one, you know what? What about people are trying to think of whether the game was going to be competitive to play Giannis? What about maybe nobody plays Drew Holiday today?
Maybe what? Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. He's also cheaper on FanDuel, so I think it'll keep his ownership a little bit lower on DraftKings.
Right.
So he's projected his ownership is lower than you think.
I'm sorry. I saw a lineup I have with Kawhi. I'm just gonna find the 300 for Randall, and that's you know what I mean.
I know it's hard, right? Can I say though, in Kawhi in real life, when he's had some games where he looks incredible.
Yep.
Not that he's moving quite the same, but he can get every one of his shots anywhere he wants, whenever he wants, and he's like the most efficient player ever. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I like that by the way, MJV. Actually I don't play KCP really. So that you could play him, but I do like the Murray and Porter together with Herb hoping the late swap. I don't know exactly what that's accomplishing. Just in case Murray is out. Okay.
I'm going to throw in some questions. Nance or Hartenstein? The answer is clearly Nance, but you could take a shot with Hartenstein is a take a shot play. Nance is a real play, right? Sheets.
So yeah, I want to address the Forest thing. He's saying Aaron Wiggins is now on the do not play list. So there, Aaron Wiggins is the exact same play as like 700 other guys like him. Okay, right. Guys that are 3,800 that played 30 minutes the game before and had a good game, and you're going to project them for 30 minutes again and forget that they're usually like a 0.6 fantasy point a minute player, and those guys, they don't have a minutes upside, right? And if they regress back to their, if you're going to project them for 30, they're going to play 36, right?
Right.
And they just have a distribution curve that has a lot of 14s in it. It just does. Not to mention some 11s. So those guys, that's why DFS is tough. Especially on let's say Aaron Wiggins was playing today. Do you know what his ownership would be today? It'd be like 85% owned. You know what I mean? And yet still it's a bad play. No, it's not a bad play. if you're trying to play these guys, he's like forced to get him in there. But in a vacuum, guys like that are very inconsistent. They're not to be relied upon.
Right. No, but you have to play them too to win sometimes.
Right.
You won your biggest tournament this year in basketball with Josh Richardson, who's completely one of those guys to some extent, at a higher price tier. He's a higher price tier version of that guy. And Connaughton is that kind of guy. I agree with Forrest on that. There is a different thing though. He's very active. Connaughton's one of the best athletes in the NBA. He's a phenomenal athlete. And he when he gets going, their best lineups usually have him on there. Their coaches said they want him to play more. So that's my scariness of fading him. I'm doing the same thing that Forrest is saying. I am playing Ingles instead of Connaughton in my biggest buy-in right now. But I'm gonna have Connaughton in other places. But you have to take some of those weird shots, like uncomfortable ones. But these guys who at least have a role, and if they're playing well, like Okoro's going to have 5 steals one night and hit 3 threes in the game and have 35 fantasy points or 40 fantasy points. And that could be the night. He's going to be 5% owned. You know what I mean? Playing those guys at chalk as much. All right. What else do we have? MPJ. Did I go MPJ over Brooke Lopez? I don't understand I didn't run into MPJ versus Brooke Lopez, Kobe. Well, no, but see, the Troy Brown Jr. is not. I'll tell you what makes it not. Chases only matter if you're chasing something that, like, it only matters to me if it's not duplicatable. The guy doesn't have a role, or if everyone else is going to chase it. No one's playing Troy Brown, and there's no reason why he couldn't score 20 fantasy points anyway. Just being on the court.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm not going to do that, but I am getting a bunch of the guy of the Mark Williams that the guy mentioned just now.
I think that's it. And Mark Williams is another one with a much higher, like, he's got an upside because he's really productive. And but I'm just saying, personally, I think that's definitely on the list of like he shouldn't be if he was going to be 5% owned tonight, I would have Mark Williams in like all my lineups.
He's going to be like 50% owned.
Exactly. And that's why I just can't. I'll just skip it. I'll try to skip his 20 in a center position that I like. I'll play 2 centers, and he won't be one of them probably.
Honestly, the real play, if you're going to think that way, is just to play Plumlee.
Well, that was why I liked the Plumlee idea earlier.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm just saying the thing with Mark Williams is like he's gonna probably be around 18 minutes. Which is scary because he can get there in 18 minutes, no problem. Like, but he also is not like they made it clear they're not playing him more. They're just not.
Right.
One game it'll happen. If you're gonna get it, I don't want that game to be when he's 50% owned. I'm hoping it's when he's 0% owned on a bigger slate with lots of value.
Okay, here's an idea. Someone's bringing up Covington. It's not the worst idea on a slate like this. First of all, he was only recently, like during the later part of the day, announced available, I think. So that's good. And again, these are not like
he legit may play like 3 minutes. That's like a really, really real possibility. Now, if Marcus Morris, who's questionable, is out, then it changes a little bit. But you want to hear all the names they have on their benches? You could name all. Obviously. Right. If they have their starting 5, Man, George, Morris, Zubac, Leonard. Zubac will lose some of those minutes, so let's say Zubac only plays 22. Norman Powell's off the bench. He's going to play 30 minutes. Batum will play 20 something. Luke Kennard will play 18 to 20, 16 to 20. Robert Covington he's and then Reggie Jackson. He'll play 14 to 18.
I think he could do something today.
He could. It's hard to know with him. I mean,
it's totally impossible.
All of his numbers in his games outside of one are basically, without one of these guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, my food is here, so so I'm going to go because once I leave, then like 7 guys can get ruled out.
With Morris officially out, I'm going to actually take a relook at this thing. So I'll stay up here for a minute. You go do your thing.
All right. All right. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, bud. All right. I'm taking a quick look here because I did not have Morris out. I'm just going to take a quick look with my Clippers. Yeah, I guess that is a bump to Covington, but it's fine because everybody's fine. It's not what I'm trying to do personally. IOP, I don't like either. I like the first one better, but I don't like either of those, Brandon. Covington over, I just don't. I don't know. I'm still not sure how I feel about the Covington thing. I don't mind taking a shot, but it's not. I don't think it's like a great play for me. Anyway, guys, I'll be in Discord. I'm going to finish building my lineups. Good luck to everybody, and let's somebody win something tonight. And January is strong. Let's go.